So it's 2019 and I'm so excited to be with this one girl. I mean, this is the first sort of female intention interaction that I'd had in basically my entire life. I was really excited. I really wanted to meet her. I really wanted to, have a relationship with her. The problem was that I didn't really know how to dictate myself around it, like how to ask her to be in a relationship or how the dynamic is supposed to work. I just kind of went with it, right? So I was excited. I was really happy to finally talk to someone that I thought liked me, because I've not really had that experience before where, a girl's come up to me and she wanted to talk to me. It's always been me thinking, oh, I think they're attractive and I should probably go talk to them, or I'm too scared to go talk to them, I'm just going to leave it. So this girl wanted to talk to me and I was happy about this, and I was ready to, maybe turn this into a relationship so I could finally get the love that I'd been missing from maybe, my bit messed up of a childhood. I keep talking to her. We keep talking for days and days and days, and some days she doesn't text me as often. Some days she doesn't text me at all. I'm sending text after text after text. I guess you could say that those were my first mistakes. And some days she would. I don't even like talking about this kind of thing. Some days she cheated on me. It wasn't once, it wasn't twice. I think it was 3 times. So let me backtrack a bit to where this happened, and there was this boy best friend that she had, and I know, mistake one, and his name was Joe. And I would always be skeptical of him, because there came to a point where, after we had started talking for a while, I noticed that she would start calling Joe more, start texting Joe more, start messaging Joe more. And I would just, be left in the fucking dust. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but I had a gut instinct that was telling me that, something's wrong. And I literally mentioned it to her, saying that, okay, you find Joe attractive, and she would kind of play it off sarcastically, like, oh yeah, I find my best friend attractive. Well, guess what? They ended up dating. And I was kind of forgotten about. But I decided, I'll stay for you. I'll stay and give you the attention that you've been craving. And the thing is, she wasn't a good person. She would talk shit about me to him and him to me. And we ended up hating each other. You see, it got to the point where anytime she went out with him, she would tell me that she would have to block me so that he wouldn't start getting worried that she was still texting me, and she would add me back after she was back. So she cheated on me. This is actually a different period later on, but actually this entire Joe thing was her cheating on me, and I just went like, okay, I'll stay. I was cheating on him in the meantime. I didn't know. I had no knowledge. I was confused. I was a bit lost. So I kept it going. I think there were times where I really got into arguments with her where I didn't want to deal with this anymore. But then eventually came back to the point where we had sorted everything out and we ended up talking still. And then after the Joe thing finished, she came back to me and she would love bomb me. Crazy. Just like, oh, I love you, I miss you, all this kind of stuff. And I was thinking that, I'd hope that this thing was going to work out. And then she meets a guy in her class. And, she tells me that, nothing was happening with them, they're just friends, and it's only me and her. And she goes out one night, and she goes out with him. She comes back and she sends me these text messages. Something along the lines as, I can't lie, I'm gonna have to tell you because I don't want to lie to you. I went out with Harry and I kissed him. And I said I knew you would. Knew it would happen. Because my gut feeling was telling me it would happen. And she asked me if I was mad, which is just kind of crazy. Like, how are you gonna ask if I'm mad about that? Of course I'm fucking mad, you stupid bitch. Oh, I feel like such a dickhead saying that, but it's true. And the same thing happened again. I stayed. I'm guessing you're asking yourself, like, why the fuck would I do that? And it was so stupid to even do such a thing. I really like this girl. But maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't really like her. Maybe I was just craving love. And I was thinking that there was no one who I could get was better. I was worried about being alone. I was worried about having to face everything by myself. Because I kind of had an idea that this wasn't a good feeling if I was alone. The entire time I knew her, I only saw her 3 times. I knew her for about 2-3 years. Nah, 2 years. I knew her for about 2 years. I only saw her in person 2 or 3 times. Now, how does this relate to self-worth? How does this relate to how you feel about you as an individual? Well, a lot of people, and I'm a victim of this as well, put our self-worth into the work that we do, the relationships that we have, the actions that we do. Some things that we can't even control, we put our self-worth on. We put our self-worth on the relationships that we have, as in on the other person. So if the relationship's going bad and we're having a bad argument, we feel terrible. We feel shit. It feels like life is just toppling down onto us. Whereas if the relationship's going good, everything feels perfectly fine. Now, why is that? I mean, it's probably because you've put your self-worth onto the relationship itself. You've latched it onto there, which means anything that changes in variables of the relationship will change in variables of your mood and your regulation and your emotions. It's the same thing with, say for example, you two. And it's not relatable for some of you because you're watching this, but I'll explain it to you. If a video does well, or if the subscribers are going up, I think, damn, life's going great, everything's good. But when the subscribers are going down, I'm like, oh shit, life's pretty shit now. Like, I can't even think about working hard on anything. I can't think about focusing on anything. I can't think about moving forward. That's where the problem comes, where your self-worth is attached to the wrong thing. You should attach your self-worth to the things that you have control over. Things that are manageable in a long period of time, such as your mental, your knowledge. If you attach your self-worth to your physique, what do you think is going to happen when you come through an injury? Now, are you just going to feel like shit your entire life now that you're unable to get back to that physical capability that you were? No. You're going to have to attach your self-worth to something that you can control in that period of time, whether that be your mental, whether that be the way that you read, the way that you write. It's also with age. When you become older, you're going to lose a lot of things that you have when you're younger. Your agility, your strength, your leanness, your looks. You can't attach your self-worth to these things because eventually they're going to die out. So be careful where you attach your self-worth. The best place is to attach it to your knowledge, to your mind. That's the best place to attach your self-worth, because that thing will always be increasing. That wisdom will always be going up. So your self-worth will always be going up. It's not an easy thing to detach your self-worth from something that you've attached it to for a long time. It takes time. It takes good mental health. It takes regulation. Allow yourself that. And eventually you'll be able to attach your self-worth to the things that really matter, the things that you can control, instead of the things that you can't. And then you'll notice your mental health will skyrocket. Your mental health will skyrocket. And you'll be a much happier person, a much more capable and motivated person. Hopefully that's been interesting for you to listen to, and maybe you've learned something. Thank you for listening, man.